Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and stop looking for the perfect match, and just use a lighter instead. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called amberisle, a shop simulator where you play as a dinosaur of your choice, released not in early access, and selling for $25, developed by Ambertail Games and published by Team 17. So, what is this game? Well, it's exactly what I said it was, a shop simulator, except with one difference from all the others. You get to create your own anthropomorphic dinosaur character. That's it. So let's just jump right into this, I guess. Here's the gist of the story. Every dinosaur at a certain age has to leave their local community and journey around the world like the Amish, and then see what's up. While out on your little dino pilgrimage, you decided to look over the edge of a hot air balloon that all dinosaurs take, apparently. Anyway, you decided to look over the edge of it while up super high, and since you've got absolutely zero balance, no hands, and the guy inside the balloon wants you dead, you fall out of the balloon. Why do I think he wants you dead? 'Cause he just lets you fall right out. He watches it happen in slow-mo. I'm assuming it's all part of his master plan to have you assassinated. Anyway, you fall out of the balloon and crash into someone's building, and it turns out it's a shop. Oh, jeez, what are the odds? They mad that you survived and trashed the shop, making me think that they work from the guy with the balloon. So now you have to pay for the repairs, which puts you into debt, and it gets a little bit more convoluted as you're playing. So now you're introduced as a shopkeeper with the ability to bring people back to the dilapidated Isle of Amber simply by selling regular hand baskets. Oh, what unique powers you have. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the story. Alright, let's just jump right into the good then. First positive point is that the game was really stable, like it ran really well, and everything loaded pretty quick, and it never crashed on me or froze, or anything like that really. It did drop frames on me a few times, but these little annoying instances kind of just came and went too quickly for me to care, so if I didn't care at the time, I'm not gonna care now. But yeah, it ran pretty smooth for the most part for me. Next up I want to talk about is the tutorial. It's part of the story, walks you through its steps and slow and as you'd want it to be, and does a pretty good job of teaching you what to expect or how to react or what to do and so on and so forth. Basically, I wasn't really confused a whole lot as I progressed throughout the game, which was a good thing because I was just in no mood for that today. And last but not least, for the good is the sound design. I think the music was perfectly pleasant enough for the gameplay loop in the background, and I think that the sound effects are perfectly wacky and nonsensical yet still making sense, which fits into the idea and gameplay of the game itself. It has no voice acting, but instead it's got a kind of language of its own, like super sped up and smooshed together dialogue so that you can't understand exactly what they're saying, but they're still making noises. But hey, it's better than some games, I guess. Next up is a list of things that weren't exceptionally great or exceptionally terrible. They were just subpar or standard. And that's the graphics. This game isn't beautiful. Don't listen to what anybody says online. It's not quirky, and it's barely cute. Alright? It just looks like a half-assed attempt to make a cute game. But at the same time, it's also not ugly, with some various different scenes utilizing good shading, coloring, and lighting. So, there. Not great, not terrible. There. End of list. Now the negatives of the game, or at least things that I thought were the negatives, or things that I just didn't like. So the game's mechanical controls are filled with inconsistencies. Sometimes you have to click and hold the action button, while other times you have to just press it, and other times you don't have to do anything with it, just walk. It's inconsistent with typical gameplay flow and controls. You can't change which tools go into which slots. You can barely change the keypad bindings at all. You use right click to chop wood instead of left click. Some buttons open up menus but don't close the menus, requiring a different button to do so. In one moment, tab opens up a character sheet, but in the next it's opening up something completely different. So the controls here are awkward and poorly designed. Also, the store management section of this is dumb. Well, why make it at such an angle that makes it harder for you to see what's going on with your stock of sellables? Why make your camera move so slow and slide around instead of just being precise? Why can't I move my camera left or right when I'm walking around in town? How can we be in 2024 and you give me a game that doesn't have 360-degree camera movement? This is dumb. The user interface is also feeling pretty incomplete and annoying at times. There's no real identifiers, and what I mean by that is when you go up into a door or a building and there's no title, there's no name, no signifier whatsoever of what it is you're even looking at, and that's pretty much everywhere, including no tooltips in your inventory or throughout your menus. Sometimes you'll get names of items, but never any explanations of items. And it's not that there's nothing there, but very little there is probably more accurate to say. But the point is, half the time you'll barely even understand what you're looking at or the specifics of it, which makes it harder and more annoying and more frustrating. The game kind of lacks in direction in a big way. Guy comes up and tells me he wants some wooden planks. So I make some wooden planks for the guy. It's a contract. Oh, nice little mission thing. It's a quest. But then I can't talk to him at all. So I'm thinking, okay, fine. I'll put it on the shelf to sell it. Maybe that's how I'm supposed to give it to him. Somebody else buys it. He comes to me later at a random date and asks if I can have them. And I look at him with wide-eyed disbelief as the mayor walks off with his planks, laughing maniacally. Not my fault you didn't pick them up, bruh. Was I supposed to hold on to them and give them to you now? I don't know, because the game didn't tell me, and you didn't tell me, and that's your fault, and that's what I'm talking about. There's no manual save. I hate that. And also, back to the controls. The controls change depending on what you're doing. One scene, it's this scheme to change camera, but in this scene, it's this scheme to change camera angle. But buttons do different things when you're in your shop and it's open and versus when you're not. Like, the management of the shop itself is also awkward and just feels wrong, and it's a little bit more complicated and doesn't really make any sense. And like, when something just feels wrong, then something just feels wrong and you know it. I mean, the gameplay, the game is pretty boring too. Like, there's nothing exciting here at all. I was literally falling asleep while playing. I mean, the gameplay is just boring. There was no challenge, there's no mystery, there's no engaging story, there's no really interesting or funny characters, there's no cool or fun mechanic in the gameplay. It's literally walk around and grab resources, which the game pretty much gives you for free. There's little like items on the ground that all you gotta do is walk over to them and boom, you gain wood or stone or dirt or leaf. You don't even need axe and shovel and scythe and pickaxe. You don't need them to get the resources. You can just walk around in a giant circle and collect resources. There's not even any real, you don't even really have to try to get resources. So like that, even that alone is really boring, because it's super easy to do. Just walk from A to B and you'll get resources. And it's like 1 wood to craft a basket. So all you gotta do is run around once and you can craft like 8 baskets and make yourself like 30,000 gold. Ah, I dropped something. I'm getting a little bit too animated. I'm knocking shit off over here. But yeah, you basically just mash the button and build as many of that item as you want, and then you place it on your shelves to sell for all that money you get. Like, it's all super easy. And honestly, it just feels like this game is a game for babies. My son and daughter could play this game, and they're both under the age of 10. And I doubt they'd have any fun with it, because after the first day of playing it, they would want to go back to playing something more engaging. There's just no energy here. There's no big goofy things happening here to entertain children, yet the gameplay and the writing and the mechanics almost seem to cater to kids, because I wasn't having any fun with it. So I don't get it. Who's this game for? Because it ain't for me, and it ain't for my kids either. So I don't know. And also, that price tag is ridiculous. $25 for this game? Why? Where is the value? Like, where exactly is the worth here? I do not feel that this game is worth $25. $15 at the absolute most. Because there's no replayability here, since there's no choices to make. And every choice you can make are fairly simple and easy to change later, like what kind of floor you're looking at. So if you happen to push through and place this game, and finish this game basically, then you'll never have a reason to return. It doesn't have voice acting or any cool next-gen interesting gameplay mechanics, so where is the value? That price tag is ridiculous. They need to drop that immediately. Alright, so that's all I gotta say about this game. Clearly, this game was not designed for me. I take offense at that. But look, I'm not just shitting on the game. Seriously, I'm only telling you what I was feeling and experiencing while playing it. I love dinosaurs, and I love shop simulators and farming simulators. So I was actually coming into this really excited, thinking I was going to have a lot of fun with this game and going to be able to talk about how awesome it is despite its weird cutesy look. But the game was boring. And while for the most part it's put together fairly well in its overall design development quality, it doesn't have any of the charm, engagement, addictiveness, or immersion as any other farming / shopkeeping simulator out there that I've played. And if you've ever, followed me or seen any other videos on my channel, you know I play a lot of these. And basically, where some of those other games did have their own issues, either being incomplete or having a stupid mechanic or something like this, the one thing I rarely saw them missing was player engagement and addictive quality. This game was just boring. It's not interesting in any single way, shape, or form. It doesn't offer you anything new or different, except for the fact that you are walking around as a walking dinosaur on 2 legs. So if you want to walk around as a dinosaur on 2 legs and you want to waste $25 on a game that you'll be bored with within a day, then be my guest, buy the game, play it, enjoy it. I'm sure someone somewhere could find some enjoyment out of this, but I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, I would recommend that you pass on this one and go play something else. Do what I'm going to do and go play Stardew Valley, because I'm going to go back and replay that game again for the 5th time here, and that's what I'd rather go do. Alright, that's my recommendation. Go play that. Alright, it's hard to go wrong with, or maybe with the new Pathia game coming out. My time at, what was it, Everstream? Whatever. I might go back and play the Porsche and Sandrock game. But yeah, so that's all I got for today's video, everybody. Thanks for watching if you even care about those kinds of things. Hit those buttons if you even care about those kinds of things. And thanks again for watching, I guess. I'll say that twice. It's in my script, so I have to say it. So I'll see you all again on my next adventure. Till then, bid you all farewell, blah, blah, blah.